Take it down, put it on this. You can do the same, please. Back to it. I don't know how to do that. It's down at the bottom. I'm sorry. Let's catch up for you. All right, hey you guys. Thank y'all for tuning in to another great episode of LaQuinta's Chatterbox, our Black Table Talk episode. And I'm your girl LaQuinta.
And of course, you know who it is. You guys, your favorite host, your favorite realtor. It's Rika.
And we have our special guest today, and I'm gonna let her introduce herself.
My name is Nita, and I am their guest host. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for
being
thank
here.
you for showing interest, and thank you for coming. We're gonna just go ahead and jump right in on today's topic. Today's topic is I'm being abused, but I still stay. Um, when I made the skit on Facebook, of course, I didn't think it was going to reach as many people as it did, but I'm happy that it did reach as many as it did. Honey had my guy just in an uproar because people was like, "What you doing? What?" And so it was like, "Oh, he couldn't wait till tonight, so we can clear that up." No, I am not being abused, but it's so many that's out there that is being abused, and I do know what that looks like, and we want to bring awareness to abuse and talk about the women that go through abuse and they still stay. And our special guest, she reached out. She wanted to be a part of this segment. She went through abuse herself. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And we're going to see what you guys think and get some input from y'all. But we're going to, like I say, we're showing awareness to abuse. And we're going to talk about what that looks like, what that feels like, and what it sounds like. You got something to say, Rico?
No, you did. I ain't got nothing to say. You just summed it all the way up.
So we're going to start with our host because with our guest, I want to give her a chance to elaborate when we talk about abuse. What do abuse look like to you?
Abuse, for me, looked like bliss. At the beginning, it's bliss. I confided in a person quite a bit, and for them it was much more like a game than anything, to see how far that they can take me or whatever. At least that's how it felt to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because the switch, the 180 of it all,
because it started out
was
real good,
totally freaking different, and I felt like a fool. But yeah, the it started off so blissfully, and it was much more on the spectrum of lust. But me being green as I was,
let me ask you this: how old were you when you went through?
Ooh, I was very old. I was older than most, but everybody goes through their times differently or whatever. I didn't have a lot of experience in this thing called life. So when I met my abuser, I think I was like 30, 31, maybe 32. And I was going through a lot at that time. I was going through a custody battle with my son's father. And during that, I met my daughter's father, who was so charismatic. And I fell for him heavily because he gave me I wouldn't say he gave me everything.
Was this the one that was this was the abuser?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He gave me everything that I thought I needed. But when it comes to sex, and I need people to understand that sex can confuse you and have you going every which way. And he delivered very well. And that's where my abuse started, because it started mentally for me.
So he was a manipulator.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Mentally and physically, because like he told me everything I need to hear and then gave
So he
my
was
body
a womanizer.
very much
that's how it started.
very much so.
What was?
But I didn't see that because I didn't know about that.
What was the first? What was the first thing you? What was the first time that he became your abuser? Like, what was the first? I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to say. What was the first thing that you quote did to him that made him abuse you?
I said, your mama.
Oh, he called you out your name and said something.
He said something to me, and I said, your mama.
And that triggered.
Came through and choked shit at me.
So as you progressed down and realized, okay, I'm kind of jumping. I'm gonna jump a little ahead when you said that. As you realized throughout the whole time you dealt with him and you helped heal from him, was his mother a trigger to him? Did he have mommy issues? Or
it was just the fact that you disrespected
or was
his
it just
mom?
the fact that you just said his mom? What was him and his mom like? Did he have like mommy issues as far as relationship with his mother, or why was his mother a trigger, or was it just the fact that you disrespected his mother?
I think it was both. He had mommy and daddy issues, but because his mom was the main person in his life, she was the main trigger, even though both of them was a part of it. Me saying his mom, even though he have mommy issues, and I just wish to not disclose those issues with his mom, but he had a lot of mommy issues. He used to talk to me about it all the time, and I felt like I was the person to heal that part of his life because it was a feminine aspect.
So you triggered something. So
yeah, definitely.
Once you had that first initial Letitia said she was 19. That's how it was for me. Everything materialistic thought that would make me stay. Wow. Yeah, they can. Once you realize that, okay, I said something to offend him, were you walking on eggshells again, or did you just take it and just like shove it up?
Right, so it was like it was a one-time thing.
Yeah, was you like, oh, he's having a bad day, and just shoved it underneath the rug and continued on being your normal self and not walking on eggshells and not trying to make sure you don't offend him? Like, was you walking on eggshells, or did you continue and just show that as if he was just having a bad day?
Okay, so with me, I consider myself a badass. Can't nobody beat me. That's me in my head.
So
Can't
nobody beat underneath the rug as if he was having a bad day.
Because no, not that.
I mean, not he's a bad day, but like, you still kept your
bro, you got me messed up.
Yeah, you still kept.
I wasn't scared of him or anything. It was just like, okay, like, bro, yeah, you choked me. I got out of it or whatever because I'm a fighter for a long.
So was you ever
time? I did not consider.
So was it
me
just
being
a toxic?
abused?
Was it just a toxic relationship, or was it an abusive relationship? Because those are two things.
I'm not sure if it was toxic on my behalf because I did not go into it wanting to be abused or be any type of, because I'm a hard motherfucker anyway. So me being with a guy or being with my lover, I'm a little bit lovey-dovey. And I apologize, you guys. Me being a lover to my lover, you know what I'm saying? I don't equate that as being the same as my.
No, so when y'all got in a relationship at the beginning, you know how some couples, they'll duke it out because that's just them. And it's a toxic love, but that's just how they do. Like they might
They
call
fight
each other
one-
out their
right, they
name,
fight
or
one
they
another.
fight each other. Was that something that y'all have incorporated in your relationship? Like, was y'all putting y'all hands on each other? Was that something that you was used to, or he just came out the blue and just put his hands on you?
Came out the blue because, man, when I say
So
this
after
guy
he did
started
that,
so
what was y'all? Were you engaging in it? Like, since
Right,
you're a
y'all fight-
hardcore
like, right,
female,
y'all just
or
fighting
did
one
he
another.
bring something out of you to where now y'all relationship is toxic and y'all are fighting? Or was you a hardcore female, but he made you shut down to where you wasn't fighting back, you was just getting abused?
You was always fighting back.
yeah, I'm gonna always fight back because that's the reason why for a long time I did not think that I was in an abusive relationship, because I'm like, shit, how am I gonna be in an abusive relationship when I'm the type of motherfucker to fight back? I apologize. I'm the type of motherfucker to fight back. So with him, when he started it, I didn't think, I'm like, when he choked me, I was like, oh, this is where we at. Okay. Let me get on your level. It wasn't on that level. Very much delusional. So I'm just like, okay, so after this we finna, but it wasn't that at all. Like, he was very much somewhere else, and wherever he was when he decided to put his hands on me that first time, it pretty much stayed. It stayed, and I wasn't aware of it because I'm just like, okay, he was just mad at that time. We're gonna go back to our lovey-dovey stage and we're gonna be good.
So was it more so, and the only reason why I say this is because if you guys are fighting each other back,
It seems more a toxic relationship.
it's more of a
No.
toxic relationship
No,
than
because I
being
did not want that.
So,
I,
right.
so what
it's
I'm
a
saying
difference, and we
is,
know you may not
were
want
you,
it
because a lot of people that are getting, a lot of women that are getting abused,
and not
they
fighting
don't
back.
fight back, and if they do fight back, it's not even really a fight back. So was you always fighting back, or was it times to where he was putting his hands on you and or being physical to you and you weren't able to fight back, or was you always like fighting back? Did it become more toxic to where you was always fighting each other?
it didn't come to where we was always fighting. It was more of a lot of mental abuse, because he already knew I was not one of those motherfuckers to go. So he had to attack me mentally, and mentally it was okay. So because I was so wanting this to work, he was on my mind and he was in my mental to like, hey, you need to make these changes, because he saw that I really wanted to be with him. I really did. I wanted to be with him. I felt like I could be the change in his life that was so different from his baby mother and his father. His mother.
You was going through the toxic part of your relationship in order to think you can change him.
But what do you mean toxic? Because on my end, I wasn't being toxic.
So if y'all fought one another,
I felt like I could go through. We fought one another because he started it. I never initiated any type of physical engagement. I always tried to talk through it,
right?
But he did not want to. It was always.
What is your definition of toxic?
Well,
What is your definition?
My definition of toxic. A toxic relationship is when two couples sit and go back and forth with one another. Like she said, he said something to her, and the first thing she said is your mama. Y'all going back, y'all going tit for tat, y'all battling one another, and then you fighting one another. You hitting back. He blacking your eye, you blacking his. To me, that's toxic. I don't think that's abuse, because y'all really abusing one another. Because if you call the police,
that's the way it started.
If you call the police on that situation, y'all both go to jail, because y'all both got bruises on one another. Y'all both fighting one another. To me, abuse, and that's, you can still be getting abused in a toxic relationship, because I've seen people be in toxic relationships to where they're still getting
to me
abused.
I feel like it's toxic and physical, and I know a lot of people are gonna be like, what? It's the same thing as physical and abuse, but I feel like it's toxic and physical and then abuse. I feel like the toxic and physical is only because at some point in time, when you have a strong core woman, she's not going to keep allowing you to keep beating on her. So she is going to fight you back. However, she's still not wanting to leave you. She's still really wanting to be there for you. She's still like the abused woman who can't defend herself back. But this woman is just got a little bit more umph in her. Even though it's not, you know what I'm saying, solid for her to walk away, she still has a little bit more umph in her. So I feel like when you get in relationships where they fight each other, it's just toxic and physical. Now, to me, abuse relationship is when a woman or male is in a relationship to where every time somebody walk by you, you flinch.
Right.
You can't defend yourself. You always getting hit. Even if you defend yourself, it's everything you say or do or breathe. He's always or she's always wanting to put their hands on you.
Have you ever been in an abusive relationship?
Mm-hmm.
And what did abuse look like for you?
But like, on what aspect are you asking?
What did it look like? Well, did you was being abused?
I was
how
abused
long were you
mentally
in a
and physically?
And so how long were you in that relationship?
For a minute.
So you was in an abusive relationship. What did it look like to you? What made it be abuse mentally?
I felt like I was too deep to even go anywhere, so deal with it. I had a lot going on at a young age. So I felt like when I got with somebody older, it's certain, you know what I'm saying, that I dealt with just because I was dealing with a lot already as a younger child. As a child that had to grow up quick. So when they came around, I dealt with it until I didn't want to deal with it no more. It's literally like watching What's Love Got to Do with it. Like she was his bag, you know what I'm saying? His bag for so many years. She was his punching bag for so many years until he messed around and got in that limo, you know what I'm saying? And she was just like, I don't want to do that no more. So that's how it was. Like, that's just how it was. So, yeah, that's just how it was. So I took it so I couldn't take it no more. And then when I was seeing that abuser before, he was used to seeing the young, scared person. He wasn't used to that.
So after a while, you went through it, and then you finally said, "I'm not gonna take it no more," and you got strong and you started fighting back. So before a minute, you didn't fight back.
And he got locked up, and that was guys.
That was your way of getting out.
Baby, best move.
So let me ask you: if he wouldn't have got locked up, would you have? Do you think you would have stayed?
I feel like I would have been trapped. And if you know, you know. I prefer to say not open like that. You know what I'm saying? But if you know, you know. I feel like I just feel like I just would have been trapped.
And that's the thing when you're going through. Hey, Calandra. When you're going through an abusive relationship and you stay, people ask like, "What if he abusing you? If you're going through all that, why do you stay?" And for you, you felt trapped, and for you, you felt like you was in love.
No, I feel like I wanted to be that change. I always wanted somebody to be more happy in a situation than I've always grown up to be.
You wanted to show that your heart was different. Like, I'm different. My heart is different.
Yes,
I would never.
I'm not like them. Oh my gosh, that's the whole thing.
But then you start realizing why they did what they did, and why you know what I'm saying. So, yeah, but
so that's what that's what abuse looked like for you when you was going through.
Oh, trapped, terrified. I could not. You could not be the opposite sex. See me somewhere and be like, "Hey, Erica, how you doing?" I don't care if you was with your wife, and I say, "Hey," to both of y'all. You gonna turn around and look at me, and you gonna say, when you get home, you know what it is.
So when you did all the speaking, he didn't say anything. He just told you, or you just automatically knew once you got home it was going to be.
I didn't even have to speak back. If someone spoke to me, I used to try to walk kind of with my head down, so can't nobody really see me when I was out. And I used to be like, if I see somebody, I used to try to hide because I didn't want them to speak. But when they spoke, I ain't have to speak back. It's like, you know what's happening when you get home. I used to be like,
So I think it's different levels to this, because I feel like he was on the because I wasn't in my relationship long, maybe like 2 years, and he kept, his thing was, I'm gonna humble you. He always said, I'm gonna humble you, but I've always been like, you know, I want to show you what true love is. I'm not your mom, I'm not your dad, I'm not the people that treat you. But he was lying to me about the way his people was treating him too.
So basically you thought you could change him, and you want to show him the type of love that he wasn't getting, so maybe he wouldn't abuse
so
you,
what
and
was
you wouldn't have to go through.
So
the
what was
fighting
you
thing.
doing different to, you say that you were, I ain't going type of chick.
Yeah.
So what were you, if you wanted to be different, how were you soothing his ego to where he couldn't put his hands on you? Like, what, how many times after he choked you that time when you say his mama, was he putting his hands on you? After he did it that one time, was he consistent with it? Was it a flow with it? Or was it just like sparingly, like here and there?
Sparingly, I was literally about to say, I was like, oh, she's not saying that, but sparingly, it was like he was starting off, because I was like,
okay, we're gonna read a comment. Latanya Thomas said, the beating gets worse, and they always say I'm sorry, and I won't do it again. Once a beater, always a beater. And that's true. I've went through an abusive relationship to where this time gonna be my last time. If I hit you, when I hit you this time, I promise you I'm not gonna do it.
Do you not think that person can change, whether you be the person
do
that
you think,
changes
because she said a beater is always a beater?
I feel like
it's just like
I feel like,
do you think
sometimes, and I'm not saying it's our fault, it's not our fault, but I feel like it's not your fault. I feel like sometimes whatever is inside of you, whatever your aura is, triggers that person. So you can't. There's
whatever
nothing,
triggered them that time.
There's nothing you can say or do. It's something within them that is triggered by you. So I feel like, not all the time, no matter how good of a woman you are, you can't always save that person. I don't think that sometimes that wasn't your job. God didn't design that for you. Now there might be another good woman that can save him, and she might be like, he has never put his hands on me ever in his life.
So you ask yourself, what made her different?
I feel like sometimes a person can change, even if they didn't change with you. No matter if you was the good person or not, it wasn't your journey. It wasn't your job. It wasn't meant for you to change them. Something had to go on. Now, because the only reason why I say that some people could change, it is just be like, always an alcoholic, always the smoker, always the fornicator, always the cusser. You know what I'm saying? Always the junkie. You got people that do change. My abuser could have changed. I don't know if my abuser did change. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I know what type of person I was, and it wasn't until I grew real strong for myself to realize, baby, it wasn't nothing that you could have done, said, or did in that moment. In that moment, it don't matter how good of a person you was. Doesn't matter how many times you woke up in the middle of the night and gave them some. Doesn't matter how many meals you had hot and ready for them, how you had their clothes ironed out. And sometimes, even as you are as a good woman, it is not your job to save that individual.
So, like Nita said, there's different levels to abuse, and I'm gonna say it's different levels to abuse, because sometimes abuse is different for different women that's going through abuse, because some men display abuse a little different. You went through abuse, and you went through abuse. I say I went through abuse. My abuse didn't look like yours. Your abuse didn't look like hers, and neither one of y'all abuse looked like mine. When we talk about abuse, for me, what abuse looked like for me at the time, abuse looked like love for me. Abuse looked like we say we love ourselves, we know our self-worth and all that. And I say this, if we know all that, there's no way possible we would stay in an abusive relationship. And like Nita say, we stay in it because we think, we can change them. We think they're going to be different. We think if I do this different this time, if I don't say the certain thing that upset him or make him or trigger him, then maybe he won't hit me. Sometimes it's not even you. Sometimes it can be because the experience that I have, it wasn't me that upset him. It was what was going on the outside that upset him. So he couldn't do what he wanted to do on the outside. So he brought his anger that he felt for somebody else home to me, because I was the closest thing to him that
Okay, but so
loved him.
the question is, why did you stay?
I stayed, for one, I was married, and I was like, my first marriage, I felt like, I'm married. And then I had children. I'm married. I have children by this man. And I loved him. He was my sweetheart as a kid, my high school sweetheart. I loved him, and I felt like Nita said, he'll grow out of it. This is just something he going through. And then I felt like me giving him children would change. Because I felt like if I got pregnant and gave him a baby, he wouldn't hit me no more, because now I'm carrying his seed. That didn't make it no different here, because he abused me while I was pregnant with his seed.
I feel like the reason why women stay is because
everybody's reason is different.
I feel like when you sum it up, I'm gonna say this. When you sum it up, the reason why a majority of women stay is because the abuser, whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, because sometimes they can be, whether spiritually, whether it's any of those matters, I feel like they put you on a high so big that you're up on a high and you're so invested in them, and that you have let yourself wide open to where you have given them nothing of all of you, to where when they come and take it from you, you're trapped, you're stuck dry. You can't move financially, you can't move emotionally. It's the stipulations. If you move, I can't leave because I'm pregnant now, or I can't leave, I got kids now, or I can't leave because he wanted me to stay home, he didn't want me to be around nobody, so I don't got no money now, or I can't leave because we got this going on, or we got that going on. You start making so many excuses because you are so entwined in him. So yes, abuse is different, and it comes in all different forms of fashion, and none of our abuse
none is better than the other.
Right.
And none of our abuse might look the same, but at the end of the day, we're all women, and we all end up wanting the same thing. Whether your taste in man is the same as mine, or everybody's different, nationality, whatever. But at the end of the day, a woman all wants love. We all want unconditional love. We love it when a man gives us something that we ain't never had before. And a lot of abusers, they come in and they kind of sniff out your vulnerability,
right?
And they know what level to take you to, because they have made it so comfortable for you to share with them, to where you are opening up to them. So now they know exactly what you really want, what you need. So now they're giving you everything that you have told them that the last person didn't give you.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. What does that remind you of? An abuser is the same characteristics, but you just name it. An abuser is the same as a side chick, because a side chick will listen to your man or your woman and hear everything that she is doing wrong,
and will cause hell,
because
at the end of the day, she's a woman and she still wants and needs the same thing.
I was a side chick the whole time. Oh my God.
And still getting abused.
But I was made to believe that I was the main chick. And I loved him so dearly. Like, he literally drove me from Arkansas to Louisiana to pursue my dreams in Louisiana. Drove me there.
See, he listened to everything that you said, what you needed,
what I was just saying,
and got you on that high that you just talked
when
about.
When abuser, they sniff you out, in their mind, they already know what they're doing to you, but they are so organized.
Teresa
And
say it's crazy because a man will beat you but love you. I'm gonna say this.
that's what we were
It's
taught.
impossible to love me if you beat me.
But if you take it back to the old school,
Their level of love
That-
is
but it-
so
that's-
different.
but I'm
They really
saying,
do
'cause that's-
love you.
They think they love you because if you truly love me, there's no way possible. If you love me, the true
of
meaning
course
of
you
love,
can,
you're not gonna hurt
but
a
of
person.
course
you
you know
love.
that now because you have
Right.
went through so much.
Right.
But when you are a victim in that relationship, you are taking it as love.
Right.
Regardless if it hurts you or not, you're taking it as love. And yes, they'll beat on you and they'll still love you. And sometimes they beat on you because they hate you and they don't even want to leave you. It's just some type of power ego stroke that they have to keep you around. You know what I'm saying? But our reality of it is women stay because we have allowed an individual to strip us from our power. And we become so empty to where we don't love ourselves. And so we are looking past, because when we are women, we love real deep and we look beyond what the eye can even see. So we're not even looking at him as the abuser after the fact. We're looking at him as the person that we feel like
and
we can
sometimes you
change.
can go through an abusive relationship. You know your man is. You know he's an abuser. You know you're going through.
No, baby, I don't
because
know who volunteering.
I knew
Who
I was,
volunteering to walk around here with black eye?
if you stay, you volunteered for it. If anytime you stayed in a relationship that you know you were being abused, you volunteered for it because you didn't have to stay.
I don't agree with that.
Accountability is everything.
We never had.
I don't agree.
You
I don't
stay.
chose to
We
stay.
did. We didn't
Because
have.
you know it's wrong.
We have chosen
Inevitably, you
to
know
manipulate
it's
our
wrong
mind.
because you don't want to be hurt.
We allowed him to manipulate our mind. We allowed him to give us false hopes and dreams.
But what
We
I'm
allowed
saying,
him to
okay,
tell us
but
something that we knew.
But what I'm
wasn't
saying
there.
right now is on the podcast, it says, why do we stay? So I'm not thinking on the level on what we thinking
But
on.
I'm thinking on
But
why
I'm thinking
women
on
stay.
why we stay. We're not thinking that he's manipulating us.
Sometimes some women do. We know. I knew my man was manipulating me. I knew when I was going through what I was going through, I knew my man was manipulating me because he knew I was young at the time. He was older. I'm listening to everything he say. He had that control.
I'm saying like right now, you knew you recognized manipulation.
No, I recognized it then.
But did you recognize it then?
Yes, I recognized it then.
And so the reason why you decided to keep getting manipulated was because
I was married to him. And see, my abuse didn't start until I was married. I was married and I was with children.
So did you feel like once you married to him, you couldn't leave? Like, what was your reason to why you keep saying like
for better?
I was married. So
I was heavily in church and I believed in my vows. My vows. It turned me to where you just got married, you got these kids, you don't want to be no single mom, you young, you don't have college experience, you don't have this good job.
Can we say that
I needed what I needed the situation.
Can we say that sometimes when we as women stay with abusers because of pride?
Oh, some women might. Some women might say
if you say that you stayed with him because you was in the church, so you got this image of
it wasn't the image.
Was it the image?
It wasn't
being
with
my husband and not want nobody to know that we was going through it.
It was. Honey, people knew that I was going through the abuse, but no, it wasn't because I want to have the perfect family or the perfect. No, it wasn't that. It was that I was into my word and I was into the Bible for better or for worse.
And he took advantage of that.
I felt like this was my worst because see, this is the thing, Erica. When I got my ass beat or drugged down the stairs, and I cried myself to sleep, I would wake up the next morning with flowers everywhere. I would wake up with him on his knees crying. I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. I don't know what would come over me. I was drinking. I was this. It was always something each time to make me think that was my
I'm
man.
pretty sure. I feel like every woman. I ain't gonna say every woman.
Right.
I feel like majority of the women that are abused too have encountered the sweetest man, because what would be the reason for you to stay? Like, I feel like majority of us stay with the abusers because after we got abused, they showed us the side of them to where we're like, damn, this is the reason why I fell in love with him and I want to stay with him. I feel like, yeah, of course you got put your hands on, I got my hand put on, and the next day, of course we're gonna have different things, and of course we're gonna have that. And I feel like
some men don't do that. Some men will beat your ass and don't shower you the next day.
I'm saying
because I've had
for the ones that have, once he does that, you no longer look at him as an abuser. You look at him as the person you fell in love with.
No, I still look at him as an abuser. No, don't say all women. I didn't say all women. Yeah, I still look at him as an abuser. After the third set of
flowers, I was like,
right, you was an abuser. I knew you was an abuser.
I started getting, I can't stand the wall. I can't stand flowers right now. Don't give me no
that's
flowers.
Why I was asking, like, what? No, you're good. That's why I was asking, like, was it like the gifts that made you look at him and be like, he not abusing no more? Or
even after the gift, I knew that he wasn't going to change. I knew, honey, these just flowers to put. Let me say, the first time.
So why did you say
the first time I felt like, oh, he's not going to do it again. The second time I felt like, maybe he won. The third time I knew that shit don't mean nothing. He's going to do this again. As soon as he get to drinking, he's going to do this again. As soon as whoever he was messing with on the outside, he come in, he's going to do this again. Like I say, I stayed because I needed him. I needed the place that I was staying in. I liked it, my lifestyle. I didn't want to break up my family. I was happy to be married, thinking just I needed to be married. I wanted that title of being his wife to say I was married.
How did you get out?
I got out because I got a daughter. I had a daughter. I had, like I said, I had a baby back here thinking that would change. It didn't change the situation. And then I had my last child back here was a girl. I didn't want my daughter to see her mama study getting abused. I didn't want my son to see his dad abusing me and end up being an abuser.
So did you make? I'm asking this because it's somebody that's watching, and if not now, soon, to where it's not as easy as the 1, 2, 3 is how we.
Well, no, it wasn't easy.
So I'm saying that you
because I stayed,
execute a plan. Like, did you stay and be like, okay, and I got to get this together, and you start getting your to-do list together.
No,
like, how did you leave? Because it's some
because
women,
let me tell you something. Some women that have been times.
It's some women that has been stripped.
See, this is the thing.
With no money.
Right, but this is the thing, Erica. I left several times, and a lot of women do. They don't. If I left, but I came back. I left, but I came back. The tears, the crying, I'm not going to do it no more. I'm going to go to counseling. Back then, counseling wasn't a big thing, but he got this thing. We're going to go to counseling. We went through counseling and everything in the church. Went to the
So is that a form of being...
He manipulated me.
Okay, so is that a form of manipulation or being naive?
It was manipulation. Both. Because I was naive to the fact to where none of those things was going to change him. So I was naive.
He lied to me and told me he was going to cancel.
So
and I came home and found his ass at home, and I'm like, why are you here?
Did your abuser make you isolate yourself from people?
He was working on that. He made me quit several jobs.
Did your abuser make you isolate yourself from people?
No. I was always the people person, and people that know me know, he never isolated me from nobody. Like I said, that's why it looked different for me. He didn't isolate me from
Did your abuser put his hands on you in front of people?
never.
Did your abuser put hands on you in front of
Never.
people?
Sweetest.
Because
These people do
I'm
not know
asking certain things
because
because
see, in
it's
front of
some
people, they make
people.
it look like
It's,
they're
no, but you got some people that
that's
is
bold.
that's
with it.
gangster, and what they it's
and they
it's
scare
in
the
their
whole
house.
family.
Yeah, it's in their house, and you got friends, and he slapped your homegirl, and you and your homegirl going to her room, and you helping her do. Because at the same time, it's like, if she gonna stay, that's not your business. But at the same time, you're gonna help her. Like, it's some abused people that are just rude with it. And I just wanted to know, like, what type of level of abuse did you experience? Was it to the point to where he put his hands? Because my abuser did it in front of anybody.
Oh no. Mm-mm. Because for one, I got brothers. My abuser knew if my brothers knew that he was putting his hands on me, oh, my brothers wouldn't go. My dad wouldn't allow a man to put his hands on his daughter. So I had to hide it. He never did in front of people. Like I say, he made it look like he was an angel. When I finally got the nerve to leave the first time and went back home to my parents and told them what was going on, my mama, she told me I knew something wasn't right by him, but she didn't know it was that. She thought it was a whole something totally different than what it actually was. But she would have never thought that he would have put his hands on me because in front of them, he loved me to death. He buying me things. He opened the door for me. He just was a perfect gentleman. He was when I say a woman would be around us and say, "Oh yeah, he spoiled her. She worked. I didn't have to pay bills or none of that." So he made himself look like
I was happy when my abuser found another woman.
Well, I tried to make my abuser find another woman. I felt like that was the only way I can get rid of him.
No, but I was happy when I got cheated on by him.
I wasn't happy. I wanted it to happen.
I was, because it gave me a sense of, I got somebody else that's gonna have to go through the load with me. So now,
So you felt like she was getting beat and getting abused.
I felt like, yeah, I felt like that was in her. I felt like eventually it was gonna come out. So I felt like once it started with me and then you came on out, yeah, I felt like that. But I also was getting like, it had to be a point to where once I knew that he was putting his hands on her, because even once I gave him what he wanted, he was still breaking in my homes. He was still abusing me while he was with that other girl. But once he started abusing her, my abuse left.
He was a sociopath as well as a narcissist.
My abuse left. So that's why I say, like, there's different levels on things, and sometimes you can't run from it. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes women deal with it because they can't run from it. Because when they go here, he's there. If they do that, he's that. If they have kids by him, so he's not abusive to the kids. In front of the kids, he seems happy. In front of everybody else, he seems happy. So I'm not gonna take my kids from him because he's a great father, is what they say, So it's some women they say because.
And this is the thing.
I can't get away.
I ask, and just like you just said, he's a great father, but he's an awful boyfriend or husband. How do you allow your children to go to or around a man that abused you?
Because every family it's just twisted. Just like they say, it's okay for a man to date multiple women, but if a woman do it, she's a hoe. It's just
right. And your abuser will use your past against you. That's why I learned sometimes it's not best to tell nobody your past or what you've done or your flaws, because as soon as they get mad, they use that against you.
But if he's a certain type of, I know this might sound weird, but if he's a good abuser, and when I say good, I mean the ones that manipulate you, make you feel like something you have never felt before, the ones that make you feel like this is too good to be true, make you feel like he's all for you. If he's one of those manipulators, the only reason why he knows your past is because he has made it so comfortable. Even if you put yourself in a situation and say, I don't tell my business, but sometimes that space, that energy, while y'all vibing real good, that person makes it comfortable for you to be like, I could share a little bit. So you give a little bit and you see how that made y'all feel and how y'all vibe off of that. And before you know it, you telling this and you telling that. Sometimes they make it comfortable for you to say that, to where even if you come across and say, I'm not going to tell this man nothing.
He make it comfortable for you to
read
tell him
you
everything.
And see what type of woman you are. Like, oh, I'm going to have to really work to break her down.
They make you vulnerable to use it as a weapon against you. And that's true. They want to get you to where you just a pillow in their hands, to where you tell them everything. So now they know the weapon to use against you.
I was not going. I did for a while, and I got tossed for a little minute.
So someone said, no, they don't make you feel comfortable. They don't make you comfortable. They make you feel like they need to know. See, that's a different version, because some abusers start off as a womanizer. So they make you feel comfortable. They make you feel like you are you this and you that. And some of them, they don't make you feel comfortable. They make you feel uneased. Every time you are around them, you jump, you on edge, twitch, or if you move a certain type of way, you think you just get hit. So
because you never know what's going to make him mad, right? Because you never know what's going to trigger him, like you said. And that's why, like you said, when somebody raise their hand, you jump and you flinching all the time, because you always walking around on eggshells, because you don't want to say the wrong things, you don't want to do the wrong things, you don't want to go out looking the wrong way, because you never know what's going to set him off. Because you also have the people that be in abusive relationships that stay and can't leave because they feel threatened. Have you ever had a man that say, if you leave, bitch, I'm gonna kill you? So some women may stay because they're afraid to leave. And when a man say he's gonna kill you, I'm a firm believer. I believe what people tell me. If you say you're gonna do it, I know you're gonna do it.
So what is your solution? Do you feel like there is a solution? Do you have a solution? What would be your solution? Because when you speak on this subject and you say, why do women stay with abuser? I feel like that's the infinity.
Because it can go on and on why they stay. Everybody have different reasons on why they stay.
And so I feel like the whole world can shed so much awareness and light on it.
And that's why we doing this.
But I'm saying, I feel like the whole world can shed so much light and awareness on it, to where it's still not going to change.
No, or it's still not going to be abusers.
No, that's what I'm saying. And I feel like that with that topic, why do we stay? I don't feel like it'll ever change. So my question would be, what would be the solution to help abuse women? What is the solution to help abuse women? Not why did she stay, but what would be the solution?
It wasn't why did she stay. I said
no, or why would we stay? Why do we stay with men, with people that abuse us, whether it's men or women, because men get abused too? Why do we stay with people that abuse us? But my question would be, what would be the solution? Because I feel like that's the infinity question, because we all stay for different reasons, whether it was your kids, or you wanted to prove that you was different, or I felt trapped. The next person could be like, oh, he took all the money out of our joint account and da. Like, it's so many infinity questions, to where, okay, we stayed, but what is the solution to keep the next girl, the next woman from staying?
We're getting ready to close it out, because when we close it out, I want to give an ending statement on abuse and getting out of abuse. So we got like
I think we got enough time.
yeah. So we're getting ready to go ahead and close it out. Do you have anything before I close it out? Do you have anything else that you would like to say concerning abuse?
For a long time, I did not think that my abuse was abuse because I am a fighter. I don't take shit lightly. So I didn't think for a long time that I was being abused, but I was being abused physically and mentally. If I didn't agree with anything that the cat would say, then he would always level up as to why we're here, and I'll try to, deaden the situation and make changes. I changed jobs, I quit jobs. I just didn't quit that one job he wanted me to quit. And that was the whole reason why we always got into it as opposed to other things. But we never really reached that because, he was so stuck on someone else that wasn't even a part of our dynamic.
So you felt like you weren't getting abused because you were fighting back?
And that's why I don't ever speak on it. The only reason that I wanted to come on the panel to speak on it was because of what she posted. And I was just like, for a long time, I never really spoke on it until some weeks ago when I had a feud with my BD online or whatever. But I never saw myself as being abused because shit, I don't take shit lying down. I'm gonna fight your ass back regardless. I don't give a damn how small I am. But when she posted that, I was just like, damn, I felt that because when he wasn't around, when nobody was around, when I didn't have to feed into my ego, I'm just like, damn, what the fuck am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
I love
and
this
it is kind of
why the fuck he keep coming at me
yeah.
like this? Like I'm doing everything to show you that I love you, and you just keep coming to me with this bullshit. And that's what it was with him. He was jealous of somebody who was just my friend. He was jealous of just the way that I carry myself, because I mean, I'm not really touched by a lot. Don't shit really just get to me like that. And he always told me, I'm going to humble you. I never understood what he meant by that.
Did you ever understood it?
To this day, I feel like I'm living it because I don't come outside. There's a lot of things that I don't fucking do anymore because of what I experienced. Like, I don't want to be touched. I don't want to be seen naked. It's just a lot of shit that I just don't do anymore.
Your abuse has something to do with sexual. Your abuse was sexually, because when you say you don't want to be naked and you celibate, right? So you don't want to be naked. You celibate.
Mentally.
It was all that.
Is it
because he made you feel ugly?
Yeah, made me feel ugly.
Made you feel fat.
He used to he'd be like, "You're not funny" or whatever, because I always consider myself a funny non. You know what I'm saying? I don't really get into the politics of anything. I just like to laugh. When did you realize
you was a victim? Because you said that
I'm still struggling with it.
You never,
because I feel like I've always felt like I was a badass.
Okay,
like,
and
so being a badass, you don't think you were.
She didn't feel like she was a victim because she was fighting him.
And I still struggle. With. I've gotten my head put through windows. I've gotten sent through walls. Like, literally, I still have pictures that remind me every year. So
did someone tell you that?
No, I just have to continue to tell myself, like, Nita.
No, did someone tell you that you wasn't a victim because you were fighting him back?
No, I told myself that because I was fighting too. Okay, so whenever I did experience it, I would be like, okay, I was fighting him too. So why would I call the police if, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not the type to get bruises like that. You know what I'm saying?
So you would never pop it off. But once you popped it off, you would fight him. You would fight him back. So you felt like you wasn't a victim because you were fighting him back, but then you start realizing that you were a victim and he's basically abusing you.
Yeah, because I didn't want that. I'm like, bro, like, oh, we had a little spout, like little spit. You know what I'm saying? I
And see,
thought in the
that's
beginning, I'm
different,
like, shit, we
because
finna-
it's
But
somebody
it
else
was
out
not
there
that at
that's probably
all.
thinking, well, because I fight him back,
I'm
I'm not a victim. When
we just in a talk. That's what
This
I said.
might be a
That's a
part 2 or
toxic
part 3,
relationship.
y'all, because
But
it's
that's
so
what I'm
many
saying
different
about
levels
toxic
and
is-
spectrums to this
That's
abuse.
toxic versus abuse. You know, if people thinking I fight back, so I'm not
that's
a victim.
toxic and physical.
Right.
That's why I said physical.
It's
It's
physically toxic, but
It's toxic and physical. And the only reason why I just don't say abuse is because, like I told you, sometimes abuse
I didn't
is
speak that, so I don't see it
Yeah,
as
me-
abuse.
yeah.
I mean, toxic, because I never wanted that. But I guess when y'all say toxic is because I was feeding into it, but I never fed into it. I always tried to calm the cat down, like, bro, what is you doing? Like, can we do something? Can we? But no, it was never like that. He always did it so that he can go
so
out
she's
and do
saying that
something with
it's
someone
not
else.
toxic because that wasn't her love language.
No,
A lot of people love
I
language.
tried to
is
explain it to him.
Yeah.
Because normally I'd be like, nigga, think what the fuck you want to think.
Yeah.
But with him, I literally tried to break it down, explain to him my mind frame, his mind frame, and I wanted us to come to a common ground, but he never wanted to come to a common ground.
Well,
It was
anytime
his
someone
way
puts
because
their
he was a
hands on
man in
you-
his masculine way, and he wanted me to be a follower. I am not a follower. Okay.
so let me ask you this: what was from you going through the abuse that you went through? What was the effects from it?
I don't like to be touched. I don't like to be looked at too long. I don't want to fuck. I don't want to do none of that. It's been almost 7 years and I still don't want to do any of that. I don't. Well, kind of interesting, but I think I'm just going through some things or whatever. But I don't feel it. Even though I think about,
And
I
that
wanna
all
screw,
stems
but I
from the
don't
abuse
want
that
to.
you went through.
Yeah, because he took advantage of. I gave him everything. I gave him every part of me because I was going through so much at that time, custody battle and stuff like that. So he took advantage of the fact that I literally put everything of me on the table because he told me he loved me the third day, y'all. I'm sorry. And I fell for it.
So Erica, let me ask you this.
I say because everything else was perfect. And I could look over this one thing. It wasn't until I made it up in my mind that love doesn't hurt. And that's what a lot of women see. Like once they start showing you that person that you want to see, you no longer look at them as your abuser for some. And you just start looking at them as the person that you love, want to love, the person that they are, and the person that you want them to be.
So let me. What was the effect after your abuse and what you went through? Did you have any bad effects or good effects from your abuse that you went through? What was the effects?
Yeah,
from the aftermath.
I was being aggressive.
It made
I was
you
being an
aggressive.
aggressive woman, and a real
You
man
was an
ain't
abuser and you went to start being an abuser?
No. I'm saying aggressive,
I was
like
just aggressive.
Yeah. I was just like calling dudes bees, and you know what I'm saying? Or
it put you in a masculine
stance.
Very much.
I got money too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got money too. Like it was always like, I don't give a, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm this too, like it was always like a chest bump moment. Like I just got real aggressive.
So the abuse changed you after you.
I got real aggressive.
Tremendously.
I was never the same way again because I never wanted a man to see my vulnerability to where now I feel like he can take advantage of it. Because I feel like my abuse came once I started being vulnerable. And once I was vulnerable, I was seeing googly eyes.
You are not lying. That was the most vulnerable I ever been with him.
Yeah, I wasn't seeing straight.
I mean, with anybody.
Yeah,
he was the first person.
I made myself be a little bit aggressive to keep me from getting to that level.
And his reason for treating me like that was because I dated.
Was that only a one-time relationship? So once you got abused and you went through an abusive relationship that one time and you got out, you never went back to another one. That was it for you.
I never went back to one, but I was involved in another one, but I never went back to one. Like once you show me that you're abusive, I'm not running back and forth with you. I'm figuring out a way to
No, I'm saying,
move
like, when you was
around
done
from
with
you.
that abusive relationship, did you ever go to another relationship and it was abusive as well?
Years later, like, and that's because, like I said, he showed me a different version of a dude that I never had. So it was like real sweet and real calm and real beautiful. And
Ooh.
I kind of let my guard down because we had went to school with each other.
This
So
the
Was
second
that
time,
the
right?
worst
The second
one?
time.
So
we grew up
That
grew up
mental
around
beat.
each other.
So
Woo!
you say you went to the first relationship and it was abusive. So you met another guy and he wooed you and started being abusive and you stayed. Why did you stay the second time?
I didn't.
Oh, once the abuse start, that was it.
Yeah, I had to fight back because that person was. I had to get the people involved. Like I had to fight back because that person didn't want to leave.
So you said the
So I
first
had-
abusive relationship
I
taught
say,
you.
yeah, taught me. No, I'm not. No, because here's the deal. I ain't. You don't know one blow from another, and you can hit me real good, and I'm through. And I was being mama and daddy. I couldn't risk that to my kids. I didn't have everything together to lead them what they needed to be left for me to be like, F my life and let this dude do whatever it is. And he was on a different type of level because it got like the more I tried to fight back, the harder he was hitting me. And he used to be like, oh, you look like a domestic violence commercial. Like that was how he would speak to me. Like that was his nature. So I'm like, okay, this what you do. This what
So
this what
basically,
you do.
he belittled you, he agitated you, and did all those
He
things.
didn't belittle.
Gaslight you.
He didn't belittle me. He came in handling up, and then one day, he just I'm in the car, we talking, we laughing, and boom, out of nowhere, just out of nowhere, like just out of nowhere.
So
No
Just-
warning signs,
No warning,
no
no nothing, just out of nowhere. So that happened.
question.
You
Question.
gotta.
Are we at? Is this our stopping point? Because no, I did not. I think he was working his way up. Because how long was you in yours? Because I think Tom, not Tom, not necessarily Tom. I think these people are so skilled at what they do that it took me 2 years to really realize that, like, bro, like I'm really finna be in a situation where I can't fight back because I was slowly not fighting back because I was trying to solely like, okay, if it's me and he and every fight that we have, because I just wanna fucking watch TV. If it's all on me, then it's something that I'm doing. And so eventually I started like trying to change my life and appease him.
So you tried to change who you were, thinking that would stop the abuse.
I thought that, and I've struggled with abuse, but yeah, I thought that it would stop him from, like you said, the abuse. Because, like I said, I was sent through windows, walls. I got pictures to remind me every year of why. When I had my daughter, I was like, I got a Snapchat and was like, hey, April, blah, blah, blah. This is, you know what I'm saying, your reminder or whatever. And I'm just looking at all the holes in my walls, the holes in my windows where I got thrown out the window, got thrown through a wall and shit like that. But me thinking I wasn't being abused because I'm just like, I'm a bad bitch. I fight back. Like, you can't fuck me up or whatever. But I was delusional. I'm more feminine than what I give myself a lot of credit for. And I feel like he took advantage of that because I don't really know who I am solely. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning a lot. And he took advantage. He took advantage of that because, I'm trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying? Like, he knew that I want to be more feminine and stuff, and he promised. He came in like,
he sold you dreams.
yeah. He was like, you know what I'm saying, I don't want you to work, I don't want you to do this and stuff like that, but I end up paying for everything. And I end up paying for everything, and you know what I'm saying, having to explain everything, and then like it just grew and grew and grew, and then that's not my personality, so my family started noticing it, so you know my ego kicked in, and I'm just like, bro, like, hey.
So being abused actually changed you because you wanted to change, thinking the abuse would stop, and in the midst of that, your family and everybody can tell that you were changing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let me ask you this.
My second time I didn't. I was like, oh, he gotta go. So I was figuring out a way
to get him.
Yeah,
gone.
because the first time I was 17 and I was in a situation with a man. So I was kind of like more so trapped and young, and I didn't know like what is going on here. Like, what have I got myself into? But the second time I'm a grown woman, and once you did that, I'm fighting back, but I'm like, oh hell no, this not it. Like, what? Like, you just out the blue just do this? Like, this what you do? It don't matter. It was just out the blue. It doesn't matter. It don't do nothing. So no, I didn't stay because me being 17 and went through abusive relationship, it made me feel like toxic love was okay. So I was aggressive, and then I took that toxic love was okay. So no matter how he showed me love, the fact that he showed me love, I was okay with it.
That's why I accepted what I got from mine, because my mama was like, bro, she was all over the place. Like, her little ass was fighting all over the place. I developed her love language through her, even though I was the type of motherfucker I was. But mama being with who she was, and they was always fighting, I was just like, okay, that's what we do.
That's what we do.
You know
we
what I'm saying? But that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted.
It's not what you wanted, but it was a pattern.
At the beginning, it was so like, it was blissful. I'm telling you, it was so blissful. And then out of nowhere, that dude changed, and he never went back. And I was just, and then after I had his daughter, I realized, because he tried to go back to who he was at the beginning. Oh, lovey-dovey, giving me everything I wanted, but I saw the facade. And I didn't feed into it, and it pissed him off. And he got his family now thinking I am who I am, but baby, I'm not.
Well, let me ask you this. You just made in the scenario what I talked about earlier. You said you watched your mom go through an abusive relationship and fight. So you thought that's what, when you started going through yours and when you got in a relationship, you thought that was how relationships were. Did you ever think about, once you had a daughter, well, I don't want my daughter to see this, I want to break the generational curse of being in an abusive relationship?
Oh, I broke that immediately, because I didn't know I was having a daughter. I went my whole 9 months not knowing. I had my sister with me, and she the only person that knew the sex of my child. And after I went in for my C-section, that's when I found out that I was having a girl. When I found out I was having a girl, it was already that. I feel like she was talking to me through the whole pregnancy, because I left him alone once I found out I was pregnant, because he was like, I feel like we don't need to be together to have a baby. And after he said that, I was like, shh. But if he tell his family this today, he'd be like, I wanted to be around my baby mama. She never let me around her when she was pregnant. That has nothing to do with nothing. I left that brother because of how the way he was treating me while I was pregnant. I didn't want to go through any of that stress. So once I found out I had a girl, it was over. Finito. When they cut that baby out my stomach and say it's a girl, I was like, what? For real? It's a girl? Are you sure? I don't have girls. So when they said it was a girl, I was like, it was over.
So you was never going back to him ever again. And right then in your mind, you said, I can't never allow this man to manipulate me, abuse me, and everything. So your daughter made you decide to change.
Yeah, I think she was speaking to me before I even found out she was a
But
girl.
she just sealed the deal, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. Y'all, you got anything else you want to say, Erica? Okay, before we get ready to close this out, Erica made the statement on how do we change it? What do we do? I want to say this about any woman that's going through abuse and in an abusive relationship, what abuse looks like. If you have to walk around on eggshells, if you're getting your eyes black, your mouth, you're fighting physically, that's abuse. If you're in a relationship and a man this is talking down on you, is belittling you, making you feel like you don't have self-worth, because in abusive relationships sometimes it starts mentally way before it starts physically. They start making you feel like you're the only one. They're the only one
Guilty about stuff.
Right, they'll make you feel like they're the only one that wants you, or like one of the viewers said, they will bring up your past and to use it against you and make you feel bad in order to start annihilating you and start abusing you. Sometimes abuse looks like I hate my relationship, I hate my mom, I hate my past, and you have to go through the toxic things that they had to fight. Sometimes
He acts like he wanted to be my psychologist and told me that my molestation was da 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 da, and like he made me feel like he was my therapist.
So I'm gonna tell any woman that's going through abuse, you can leave. Don't listen to the threats on if you leave, I'm gonna kill you. That's what the authorities are for. Do not be in a relationship that you think that you're being loved, because love don't hurt. If a man actually love you, or if a woman love you, because it's men that go through abuse as well. If you're going through abuse, get out. Don't stay. There's no law saying just because you're married you should stay in an abusive relationship. Don't be like I was and think because of marriage or because of a child you should stay. If you're feeling like you're in an abusive relationship, get out. Know your worth, have some self-respect, and have love for yourself, and just leave. Y'all got anything else?
I just feel like we as women, we stay for many reasons, but you can make 1,000 excuses to why you stay, but your mental should be why you shouldn't stay. And it's easier said than done. And sometimes you don't know who to trust, or the people that you do confide in, they make you feel like it's your fault, because we got some people that are in relationships to where they might have been the escape for their family, and so now they are the breadwinner to the whole family, and the mama feels like that's what you're supposed to take in, or you feel like if you stay, you're going to cause a disruptive. The first thing you should be asking yourself is not why do I stay, is why, what should I do to get away?
Why? Right. What should I do to
get
leave?
away? And I just feel like just leave.
Have enough love for yourself. You want that peace, and you don't deserve, no woman or man deserve to be abused mentally, physically, or emotionally.
Because here's the deal: is you don't never know if that last abuse
will be your last.
Will be your last day breathing.
The wrong hit can be that
it goes deeper to just on this podcast, or deeper to just saying you should leave because we got the strength to leave, or you should leave because we tell you should leave. It's a touchy story to where you really don't have the answers. You don't have the answers, and no one has the answers for you. The only person that really could make you leave is you. So you can listen to a lot of self-guide books and a lot of things that tell you what you should do, but until you get it in your heart and your mind on what you need to do for you,
enough is enough.
That's what's gonna give you the strength for you to leave. And I hope you, whomever this is to, find peace within themselves, find forgiveness within that abuser, and just start on a better journey for themselves. And I hope that you just
Leave.
find a safety zone.
And if there's
You really
anyone
do.
on this podcast that's watching and that's going through abuse and you need someone to just talk to just vent to, you can call myself, you can call Erica, you can call anyone on our podcast. We will have a listening ear, and we also will have
We're gonna
revenue.
go ride on. No, I'm fine.
We will have revenues for you to get help to get out, because the main thing is your safety. We don't want anybody to go through abuse, and whatever we can do to help anybody that's going through abuse, please reach out. You will stay anonymous. We will never disclose your business of what you're going through. We just want to be a help and have and spread awareness to abuse. I'm your girl LaQuinta. Until next time, remember, it's not what's on you, it's what's in you. Let's always try to have positive and good things in us. And if you're going through abuse, ladies, get out. Men, get out. You do not deserve to be in an abusive relationship, whether it's mental, physical, or emotional. Peace.